Welcome to the Frog Brothers KaijuVision. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of KaijuVision, the SpectreVision spin-off for our YouTube channel. Today, with me, as always, is Justin in charge and Nick Liss.
Hello, how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty damn good. First new movie in a theater in a while, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the last time I saw a new movie in the theaters was Bill and Ted 3. So,
Me too.
it's a pretty damn good feeling to go back again.
I didn't even see that in theaters, so...
You weren't here yet.
Nope.
Sucks to be you, nerd.
It's all right, I guess.
At the Screenland Armor.
Yes, in Kansas City.
A great local-owned movie theater. It's actually pretty busy there tonight. I was very impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I think they came close to selling out their max capacity there
Yeah, it
for
was
that first showing at least. So
Busiest I've ever seen.
We were sitting in the first row.
on the
Which
couches.
is almost nostalgic a bit, like, we showed up late for the movie, and the movie theater's packed.
But those first rows in there are pretty comfortable. You're far enough back and you're on a nice couch.
My neck is still actually kind of bugging me from that shit, just because it's, like, not the greatest place to view that shit from, but, you know, whatever.
It's not as bad as some theaters where you're looking like straight up when you're in the front row.
Yeah, it's far enough back where it wasn't crazy for me. I was pretty comfortable, so...
Me
All right,
too.
all right. Initial opinions. That's pretty much what this is. We just saw the movie, so we're gonna talk through it, and I just want to actually ask both of you right now, though, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Sideways.
Thumbs up.
I had fun.
Yes.
Spoiler
was fun,
alert,
definitely.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, then don't fucking listen. Come
Yeah.
back later and get our thoughts
Because we're going to
after.
say who won.
Yeah. So, this movie did exactly what I expected it to, and Mechagodzilla was the bad guy. And kind of like everyone was expecting that, and it did just that. I did like how it just became like Skynet and became self-aware and took over itself. I did appreciate that piece. That way you take out any element of a human needing to control that and just kind of lets the action sequence work much better that way, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Love that.
I believe he was also a little bit of that was like, it almost reminds me of Vision, because, you know, that robot probably has part of that guy's brain in him.
Yes.
And he probably also has part of Ghidorah and
Yes.
himself as Mechagodzilla. So it's actually kind of cool in that way. It's like almost Ghidorah is like, no, I'm back in the fucking metal Godzilla body. I'm coming to whoop your ass.
Yeah, and that's the vibes I got from it as well. And so it was a good battle there at the end. I was Team Kong the whole way, and everyone's like, "Oh, Team Godzilla," and I'm like, you know, King Kong's actually been around longer than Godzilla. No offense to Godzilla. by any
Yeah,
means.
I don't know. Those are fighting words here even, because Godzilla is just a way better. I don't even know how to take that. The fact that you just revealed that to me, I didn't know you were Mr. Kong over here.
Khan's the
Thank
good
God we rode over
guy.
in a separate car. Can't
Khan's
see
the
me.
good guy that you sympathize for, but I still want Godzilla to win. Because I'd rather see him
Godzilla's a
survive,
legend, I
make
think.
more movies.
King Kong movies are generally a little more boring.
Yeah, and I think this actually brought a little bit more to the Kong character than we've ever really had before, right? He's
these last two are
basically
great, yeah.
Yeah, he's your human-like character that's going to carry you through the story and give you a reason to care, right?
And he can sign now.
Yeah, that was actually very interesting. I didn't expect them to do that
Yeah, I
because they
like
didn't
that.
show any of that in the trailer. I liked that because it's like, yeah, you can tell that he's like probably the smartest fucking kaiju there is, basically. So
Yeah, and that really gave me some Congo vibes, right? You know, you have a smart ape that's kind of there doing some sign language, kind of communicating with things.
Amy, hungry.
Yeah, basically. But I
Amy,
enjoyed that.
need to poop.
But even going to like the sacred ground, right, where you go and you see like Godzilla's stomping grounds and you see like the statues and everything, I thought was very interesting. And I did like how it wasn't just, you know, when I first saw the spoilers and the toys that showed like Kong having this axe with a blade of Godzilla's back, you know, one of his, I don't know if you want to call it a spike or a blade, but on his axe he had that as the main piece. And I just thought that was well done, that it was just already there. I like how he just picked it up out of his like family's temple instead of like ripping it off Godzilla and like fashioning it himself. I think it was more interesting to me that way. And then the fact that like they had the handprint for Kong to push through there, and then he laid the axe down.
Does Godzilla have one of those spikes missing?
No,
Or
I
did
think
it-
it's I think
or
it's
did it
just
grow back,
it's
or-
implied that their ancient families used the
Yeah, and
same
they're-
thing as well, because I think somewhere along in these movies, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember where, but they did mention that like Kong and Godzilla have always been at war for being the one in charge. It's always one of them.
Yeah,
like,
the dominant,
or
yeah.
in the past and whatever. So,
And I did like how you did get some other giant monsters in there, and it wasn't distracting like it could have been, right? With the last Godzilla movie, there was just a lot of action sequences, and I love that movie. But I think to tell this story right, I think it had a pretty good balance of...
well, the thing is, all those monsters, and for the most part, most of the ones that were in the last one or whatever, what's that one? King of the Monsters. They were all monsters for the most part from other ones, which is what I
Yeah.
really liked about it, because in the first Godzilla, you have a lot of nameless random kaijus, and I can't remember what they called them in that one. But then, obviously Kong has a couple.
Sure.
And it's just really interesting. These last two Kong movies in this universe have been my favorite so far, and I haven't seen all the Kong movies, so I'm going to go back and watch them eventually. But, I really enjoyed them, so.
Yeah, and I love how they're trying to figure out why Godzilla's attacking towns, and it's like clearly it's Apex, right? And it's another classic.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. With the old Mechagodzilla, one of his appearances, he is blowing shit up. It's Godzilla. Blowing shit up and fucking shit up, kind of like he is in this. And I thought that's the plot line they were going to kind of take. And then Godzilla is battling a different kaiju who's like trying to get him to calm down or whatever. And it's he like tears some of his skin off, and there's Mechagodzilla underneath.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what they're going to do with this, and they didn't. And I don't know if I like that more or less, but it's probably just that fact that I thought that's what it was going to be is why I was disappointed when it wasn't. But Mechagodzilla, that's one of my main critiques, is he's not in it enough. Barely in it, short period of time, but I liked it.
I think the big piece with that is, so since they title it, as a versus movie, they didn't want to, you have to have some battles before they team up, and then they have this like mutual respect for one another at the end.
Which actually, even if you look at it as mutual respect, the way I see it is Kong put down his axe, and Godzilla saw that as him submitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Godzilla
Should have showed his teeth.
whooped Kong's ass on the boats.
Yep.
He whooped his ass the second time and almost killed him. Then he was brought back by the humans, and then Kong submitted. So all three times that they really, were at odds, Godzilla came out on top.
Yeah, because even when they make note in the movie, they're like, oh, round two goes to Kong, and like, no, because then Kong gets his ass kicked right after that.
Yeah.
And, like, nearly killed. But it's interesting, though, because we've seen Godzilla be so brutal before and just fucking outright murdering other kaijus in, like King of the Monsters, for example, right? Whenever he can just murder something, he will, but he doesn't do that, right? There's this level of Batman Joker-esqueness to it, like where there's like this tension that is going to carry on.
Kill you?
Yeah.
What would I do without you?
Exactly. That's kind of vibes I got from Godzilla, was like, this is kind of fun. Like, just leave us here. And then obviously when you see Kong out at sea, I expected him to get his ass kicked because that's Godzilla's turf,
he's definitely
right?
outclassed there.
And some of the action sequences I really enjoyed seeing, like Kong fleeing around through Hong Kong and then Godzilla just stomping through town.
I was about to say, out of all of these MonsterVerse movies that have come out, this one has the best like fight scenes, the most engaging fight scenes, because I don't know what it is, but it's like the way they interact with each other is better than some of the way the other monsters, because some monsters, all they can do is bite people or throw fire at them, and it's not like this was like a fucking fist fight.
Yes.
And I don't know, it just ruled. It was awesome to see.
And I loved how there's a lot of bright colors in it, like with all the neon lights and the Hong Kong skyline and all the skyscrapers there. I think that really made it stand out, because if you just recall Godzilla 2014, like how dark that picture is.
As I say, they had to
how
illuminate
much
the
smoke
monsters
and
at
certain
night.
things.
So.
Yeah, you had to intentionally do certain things. But I think this made this one really unique.
There's some things that happened in this movie, though, that outright made me and Nick just laugh at the fact that, what the fuck are you doing?
The Tron ships and the
I was about to say, yeah, everything looked like it's from
mind-controlled
Tron.
place.
Yeah.
And I get the neon thing. Here's my problem with it. I like the neon in the cities where it makes sense.
Yeah, that's what
I
was
like the
talking
neon
about.
on Godzilla. I like that's about the extent of the neon that I enjoy in the movie, because then there's also neon on everyone's ships. the ships also glow with like neon
they got, like,
effects that look like
energy.
they're from the 90s.
They
That
got, like,
looked
energy surrounding
those
the
look like
ships,
shit
too.
to me. That was
Those
kind of
ships were terrible design. Like that whole setup and the outfits they had just seemed like Ant-Man and the Wasp rip-off shit.
Yeah,
to
it
me.
felt too futuristic. to me.
It felt just like they're going into
Then they had the droid that looked like it was
Oh, the
from
little
Star
spider
Wars and
droid?
shit.
yeah.
And it kind of beeped like a Star Wars.
Yeah.
droid,
Yeah,
too.
there's a few minor things there, and then
No, I'm still talking about the neon here.
oh, you're still going?
Yes.
Okay.
They maybe shouldn't have put so much fucking neon, and it wouldn't have pissed me off so much, and I could have enjoyed it a little bit more. And this might be my favorite of the MonsterVerse movies. I'm just saying there are still some things that like you want to bitch slap some filmmakers for,
Did you have any complaints, Justin?
like the skull
Oh, sorry.
when they're hanging out in the Ghidorah skull. Why is everything in there fucking neon too? Why is everything in every facility fucking neon?
Like neon and a clear tubing. Like, why don't you just use some regular fucking wires?
That's what I'm
No
saying.
one's
There's
using
neon everywhere in the movie, not just in where you want it. So they just overdid the neon, but I really like it in the fight scenes because I love seeing Godzilla in a downtown place with a bunch of neon lights at nighttime. That fucking rules. Reminds me of the '84 Godzilla.
Yeah, and the fact that they had the big things that bothered me in this, right? Okay, so the one scene where Kong picks up a fucking, I don't know if it's supposed to be the F-22 Raptor or what it is, but one of the
Threw
one
it
of the
like a
planes.
dart.
Yeah, and he picks it up and fucking tosses it like a dart. I literally fucking laughed out loud.
And then the
but
guy was in
because
it and ejected.
Yeah, the guy like
It was good.
ejects out of it, and I was like, I was like fucking laughing because I was like, this is ridiculous. And
I
not
love
in a
that.
funny way. Like that scene was just like so stupid to me.
Yeah, that was more of a good, funny.
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh, that was like unexpectedly hilarious.
Like I was like, shit.
Yeah, no, I liked that. I was like, once I literally saw him throwing that, I was like, this is going to be very entertaining.
Oh yeah. The only other thing in there that really kind of bothered me, and like you said with the neon, the contrast of like them having these very traditional, modern-looking naval fleet escorting Kong, but they don't explain why it's the military, right? Apex is like a private corporation.
It's Monarch, too.
Yeah.
Monarch is what the people that are...
That was doing the escorting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because and then like, how could no one in fucking Hong Kong?
Wait, is that even right?
Well, Monarch.
That's very confusing about the people who are actually doing the Kong shit. Because it is Apex.
It is Apex. Yeah. Because
That doesn't even make sense. There's Monarch's not even in the fucking movie for worth of shit then, because it's just Millie Bobby Brown's dad who still works there, and the one guy doesn't work there anymore.
And it's very limited in what's going on with that, right?
I would have liked to see more Monarch presence. Just throwing that out
So
there.
maybe they're contracted or funded by the military?
Well,
or the
also
government?
she works for Monarch. The woman who is the little girl with her.
Oh, okay.
She works for Monarch, and Kong was at the Monarch facility on Kong's Island. So it's kind of like they're working together, yeah.
Yeah. But with the Apex thing there, it's like what bothered me was like all this crazy neon tech that Apex has, and then they need someone to get Kong to
Well, yeah.
take them there. It's like, how do you have all this tech and then you're going there, but then you still have like traditional like modern airplanes, like why didn't we, and then like the future ships, like the clash there. Like if you had such a futurized ship that can take you into an anti-gravity place,
Yeah, why didn't they have those
why are
flying
you using
ships?
a fucking aircraft carrier?
Why
as
weren't the
your
flying
defense?
ships carrying Kong or something?
Yeah, that's kind of what I wondered. Like there's some things there that just seemed like it was lazy writing and oversight.
Second thing that bothers me now. When they go in and do all that anti-gravity shit and go through the portal and it looks like 2001: A Space Odyssey, that doesn't happen when they go back out.
No, they showed the ship flying around a little bit, but they don't show like the gravity effects.
No, none of that happened again. It was
And it
never
doesn't
brought
happen
up again.
for Kong, right? Because you're in Kong's castle, and then
Maybe
Godzilla shoots all the
maybe
way
that's
through.
only there in those pre-existing tunnels, but since
I mean,
Godzilla drilled through it with his nuclear breath.
But that's just illogical.
yeah, but
It
maybe
just-
that's what they were thinking.
I'm
even
thinking
if it
they
didn't
just
make
ignored
sense.
it.
It's just inconsistent
Or cut it
shit.
out
Like
or
and in the
whatever.
movie, I was like, you suspend disbelief for that shit. But like looking
Yeah.
back now, and you're like, okay, there's definitely some things that the writing wasn't quite as tight in this one as I felt it was in the last couple installments
Yeah,
for
I
each of the
agree with
movies, the
that.
last three.
What I really liked actually is how that little girl communicates with Kong and stuff. I mean, I know we talked about the sign language, but the little girl is probably one of the best characters in the movie.
Yes. She makes you care for Kong in ways that no other human
and she
character
connects.
can.
She connects this plot because it's always like the humans are doing their things and the kaiju are doing their things, and this little girl literally connects those.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
And you show how sensitive she is to everything because she puts her hand on the hull of that ship and she can feel Godzilla's frequency in the water even before those other alarms go off. So she's got some level of...
Yeah, she's really aware of vibrations.
And I was curious. I did like how they had a throwaway line in there saying like the whole family was, all of her tribal people were wiped out, and Kong took her in and saved her because she was the last one that survived a storm that happened on Skull Island, which made sense because, when you're leaving Kong Skull Island, like the movie, like there's still a lot going on there. There's plenty of people there. There's all this stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it almost feels cheap that they wrote out an entire people, but at the same time, it does give you connect. I mean, they could have easily.
I don't think they wrote out every last person because he's in an enclosure now.
Yeah.
And that little girl was still there. So there's obviously at least one survivor. So I'm sure there were others. They were just saying literally her family. I don't recall them saying that the whole village was killed. But I'm sure a lot of people were. But I'm sure there's a few survivors too.
Yeah, that's kind of the one thing there because I'd almost rather seen that like she just had a natural connection to Kong since she was a child on that island, and they seem to have a natural respect for him in Kong Skull Island in the movie. So overall, though, I had a good time with it. It was a fun movie, a great movie to go back to movie theaters for. Great big screen, popcorn flick, lots of good stuff.
Quite enjoy.
Which battle scene was your favorite?
Godzilla versus Kong in Hong Kong up until Kong dying, basically.
I kind of like the water fight because it was a little different than what we've seen before.
I liked it also.
That was good. I did like that final battle with Mechagodzilla. There were some things in there that I really liked.
I loved it. I just thought it was short-lived is all.
There's some things in there, though, that was like, I grew up watching Power Rangers to some degree, so like it felt like so much Dragon Sword stuff, especially with the tail and the spinning tail. And
They've mastered this one. They've fully mastered the CGI of at least not like how good it looks necessarily, but how it moves. Godzilla moves like a person in a suit like he used to. It's not even noticeable at first because it is CGI, so you're not thinking of it that way. But like, he operates like he's a man in a suit.
But
and
it doesn't
that's
necessarily look like a suit, though.
Well,
either.
that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just saying the movements, and it works great
because
it
comfortably familiar with what you expect from Godzilla, but it also looks very modern and looks really. And some of the close-ups, I mean, looked really great for Godzilla.
Yeah, all of his facial expressions and stuff I liked. I liked how he was a little more.
Can we talk about the elephant dong not in the room? The fact that Kong has no cock and balls?
Oh, we talked about that, yeah. I was like, I wonder, where's his balls?
Well, yeah, we mentioned it during the movie.
Because some primates have like small penises just so they don't get hurt in battle, but you can usually see somebody's.
But he's like an ancient kaiju, but he's also just a big gorilla, basically. I don't know how you get
Yeah, but like, where's its reproductive organs at? Like, modern stuff is there, they're just not there.
Maybe Kong has a pussy.
Yeah, maybe, but they keep referring to him as a him, so it's like 2021. Can't we get this right? Can't we call Kong what Kong is?
Kong is trans.
Maybe, but can at least give some respect?
Well, no,
to
it could
Kong?
be a man with a vagina and he's trans.
Yeah, that's the most.
That's what I'm going with.
That's the most likely
and I
scenario.
respect that.
But I mean, I also get at the same time for a family-friendly movie, you can't just have a fucking ape's cock and balls swinging around the whole time.
I got a surprise for you.
But it'd be funny. We should add that to it. And like the slapping sound effects of it slapping around all the time.
In a fight,
Yeah.
And like, you ever had a fear boner? Like, Kong would have had a fear boner at some point in time. I'm just saying.
That episode of Workaholics when they're fighting each other and then they get boners and they have to stop fighting and he's just like, well, you're just wearing a Speedo. You're all fleshy, dude. I can't help it.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. So we had to go there. I just thought it was one of those things that I literally stopped in the middle of the movie and I was like, and I didn't think of it in Kong Skull Island, but like as he's fighting somebody else, I'm like, wait a second, like no one's gonna just knee him in the nuts, and you're like, well, wait, he doesn't even have him.
Somebody should grab him by the dick and fucking just yank that shit, and he would go, no!
And maybe that already happened when he fought somebody else. Like maybe that's a cutscene we missed.
True.
I don't know.
Maybe he only has half a cock left.
I mean, it's possible. What do you think, Nick?
About the genitals?
Yeah. What do you think happened to Kong's reproductive organs?
I think they're there. They just didn't want to animate it. I like to pretend that they're there.
Swinging. Okay.
I mean, I think he's a grower, not a shower, so it's not really.
You'd still see the scrotum swinging around though, not necessarily like
maybe
full on dong all the
maybe
time.
they neutered him.
There's some angles where you would have seen it for sure, man.
Exactly, and because they kept showing his ass as he's like walking along, you're like, that looks. I've been to a zoo. I've seen.
Maybe he's got a lot.
When he was scratching his ass, it'd have been funnier if he scratched his balls.
Yes, that would have been fucking amazing.
Maybe he's got a lot of fur down there, so it's just kind of in the
Or
fur.
what if they showed him jerking off and they were like, he's got a splooge, run!
Killing
Throwing
somebody
his
from the
shit at
amount of-
Exactly.
people.
It would look like Walter Peck with the marshmallow.
I mean, it's possible. And you got exactly what you're expecting from us at the end.
Yeah. We, of course, have to talk about superhero sex organs. Kaiju sex organs.
Yes.
I don't have too much else to say. I guess we can wrap it up. But if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go fucking
Don't
see
watch
that
it
shit.
on HBO Max.
Oh, yeah, go
Not the
see it in
first
the theater if
time.
you can. Support a local theater if you can.
Unless
even
you're
better.
rich and you got one of those theater screens in your house.
I will tell you, since I can watch this for free on HBO Max, now that I paid my money to the local theater, I've done my due diligence for local community, local business.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah.
Just because I got 30 days to for free. I
Mm-hmm.
don't give a fuck. I'm going to watch it again. It was good. I'd see it again. See it again probably this weekend.
Be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you're not familiar with our channel. If you liked us talking about Trans Kong versus Tron.
What do you think happened to Khan's Dom?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dong, Skull Island.
That might be a porno.
See you
the
next
spook.
time.
On KaijuVision.